Okay, Ben, so it's great to speak with you. I'm going to get right into it.
Okie doke.
I want to start talking about Run and Gun. I'm going to try to ask you spoiler-free questions because I know the movie's coming out next week.
Yeah.
Um, I know that your press has shuffled so much for this that you were doing it before the end of the year. So I'm curious when you actually worked on the movie itself, because I'm sure
It
press has
was,
gotten bumped.
yeah, it was almost exactly a year ago.
Okay, almost exactly a year ago.
Yeah.
So, do you feel like you had by then gotten used to COVID restrictions and that it was kind of easier on set for this movie, or were you still kind of figuring things out?
It was my first time on a set during COVID. So it was a new experience. But still I don't think it took away from the fun of the experience.
So, with past COVID stuff, talking about the actual film,
Yeah.
when you obviously you play Ray, was that the character you initially had auditioned for, or
Well,
did
I,
you?
I actually did an audition for this one. I was involved in the project from the beginning. So I knew the producer. I know a producer that I'd worked with on a past film a couple months before. And I was talking to him one day and I said, I would really love to do like an action thriller movie. So he says to me, "Oh, I know a guy who writes and wants to direct an action thriller movie. So I'll introduce you guys." And the three of us spoke and he wrote the script, sent it along, and I was like, "I love this script. This is fantastic. Let's go make it."
So he
So
wrote the script with you already in mind for the character, so that's even
yeah,
better.
yeah.
So when it comes to Ray, this movie is layered. There's a lot of comedy in it, even
Yeah.
though it is a thriller, like you said. So there's a bit of back and forth when it comes to you doing more comedic, straight deadpan comedic delivery
Yeah.
versus like you bring out the darkness, dark side inside of you. I'm
Yeah.
curious if you kind of got into the head of those different sides as different characters, or if you looked at the whole thing as one layered character and just tried to switch between those two.
Um, I looked at it as one whole character because I think that the best example of any character are humans because that's what they are, right? Characters are people, and people have different sides to them. They have times when they're silly, times when they're down, times when they can get quite dark, times when they so everybody has all of these things inside of them. So what was really important to me when approaching this was, okay, what is the truth I'm going through under these imaginary circumstances?
Gotcha. That's a really good answer. Now, as far as your past, you have a experience in boxing, and I was
Yeah.
curious if that helps with the physicality of any of the things you do on set, even if it's
Yeah.
not necessarily a fighting scene. Do you feel like that
Yeah.
makes it like helps you ease into like the scene at the beginning or the scene at the end? And no spoilers, but
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah. Yeah.
you think that helps out a lot?
Absolutely. I mean, you know where your hands are going. You have more control over your body and you know what it's capable of doing and all of that sort of stuff.
So you obviously you have a diverse background, but before you got into run and gun, what led you into acting in the first place?
Movies in general. I love movies. I've always loved movies. As a kid, all I did was watch movies, and that was it for me. You know, I didn't realize that I could actually go and do movies, but I just knew I loved them. And then later on in life, when I realized, wow, I really could do this. I could have a go at trying this. Um, that I just jumped in with both feet, and now here we are.
Well, as far as running gun, you interact with a number of different actors on
Yeah.
different levels. But I'm curious if there was one, you have different relationships with these characters. But I was
Yeah.
curious if there were any of them that you felt like you had the best chemistry with, based on whether the scenes were easier for you guys to get off together, or just like the dialogue you guys come up with together. There's a lot of banter that you do with different characters. So I was curious
There,
if you had
there is.
good, like the best chemistry with anybody specific.
Well, I wouldn't say anybody specific because I feel like I had really great chemistry with everybody. Yeah, the guy who plays Lupe, Raphael, he's a really good friend of mine from before this.
Okay.
Janelle, who plays Faith, is a really good friend of mine from before this. Brad, who plays Billings,
Yeah.
I mean, what a guy. That guy,
Right.
he's an absolute legend.
He killed it.
Oh my gosh, he's just so good. And we got along so well. And it just made that whole thing, just the back and forth between the two of us, just so smooth and easy. And it was just so fun. Richard Kind, another one. Mark Dacascos. I mean, Richard's phenomenal. He's
He is.
absolutely phenomenal. And working with someone like that's really like, that's when the stuff starts to happen,
Yeah, and then Richard, I love that the brother dynamic between Richard and Mark. I talked to them both during the first
Hilarious.
thing. Yeah, they both got so into it. But
Yeah.
like I said, like you said with Brad, that's the one relationship that I really like the comedic back and forth with. And
There was always this thing that we were saying on set while we're shooting this movie, and it was like they could have been friends.
yeah, they really could have.
If he wasn't,
thing, yeah, and it comes back full circle to the anime thing. Like that's how you can tell.
Yeah, that whole thing. That isn't that a heartbreaking moment?
Right, it's like Cowboy Bebop.
Aw.
He's like, hold up, bro. You like anime
Yeah.
too? And you're like, oh yeah, Cowboy Bebop's my shit. And so
You never asked.
That was awesome. Was the anime thing completely scripted, or was that something that you guys? Okay, so that's like a director or a thing that the director and writer put together.
Yeah.
It's hilarious though. Like what a way. And I'm not going to put any spoilers around it, but how do you feel about the arc that your character went in? Just to talk about Ray a little bit. Do you feel like, when you started sitting down and putting this idea together, do you think Ray ended up being what you had pictured because you were one of the first three putting it together? You think it all came out the way you expected?
Yeah. When I first read it, it was, it's a guy running from his past who then has to face it and come to terms with it. And I feel like we accomplished it in that movie.
Definitely, yeah. Running and then gunning. Yeah, both of those things happened.
and then, yeah.
Is there anything else that you would like to say about the film or the people that you worked on the film with, or anything else just about the running gun in general before it comes out?
I mean, it's a hell of a ride. It is such a fun movie. It's it's a very special movie to me. Everybody involved was just so wonderful. I have such fond memories of that movie and being there, and I get nostalgic talking about it because it was just such a special experience. I can't wait for everybody to see it.
Would you be willing to revisit that world? That, like, I know a lot of, I mean, there may not be certain characters that exist at the end of the film. No spoilers, but is that a world you'd like to revisit, or do you think that is something that's best left in a single film?
I don't know. I mean, we haven't really explored it all that much, but I mean, sure, I'd be open to like looking into that. I mean, it's just we haven't quite got there yet.
Yeah, because I mean, you're running from something, so it could always be a prequel, or just be more gunning. So it could be.
That's a good idea too.
Yeah. Well, anyway, what else? Is there anything else you'd like to plug, promote before I let you go?
No, but make sure you watch Run and Gun.
Run and Gun, I think that's coming on the 15th.
15th.
Okay. That sounds great. And Paige, is there anything else you need from me? I know you guys are running behind, so I'm trying to let you guys go.
Nope, all good. Caitlin will send the footage after we're done today.
Perfect. And then do you know if she'll be sending that footage of Richard and Mark as well? Because we had done that.
Yeah, she'll send it both.
Perfect. Thank you guys so much, Ben. You were killer. You killed it in that movie, man. Like, I hadn't seen you in anything before this. So great job leading that
Thank
cast.
you.
Of
Thank you.
course.
I appreciate it so much. Thank
You
you.
guys both stay safe.
Thanks, Joe.
Bye.